Good morning, beloveds. I'm being stalked by one of my oranges. She's decided she doesn't want to get on the couch with me. She's instead getting up in her tower, which I really need to redo a couple of those levels on it. I saved some old jeans so that I could cut them apart because they'd stand up to the claws, and I just need to get off my duff and do that. So, or maybe I need to get on my duff and do that. Because, it would be sewing. Alright. I'm just today. Alright. It is August 19th, and our title is I Claim My Divine Inheritance. Remember that we are in the month of vitality. Your kingdom of God is at hand. The riches, power, glory, and might of this kingdom are yours today. You do not rob others by entering into the fullness of your kingdom of joy, your kingdom of abundance. You recognize that all people belong to the same kingdom. You are merely claiming for yourself what you would that the law of good should do unto all. There is no law of human heredity imposed upon you. Evil has no history. Limitation has no past. That which is opposed to good has no future. The eternal now is forever filled with the presence of perfect life. You always have been and forever will remain a complete and perfect expression of the eternal mind, which is God, the living Spirit Almighty. Say, today I enter into the limitless variation of self-expression that the Divine Spirit projects into my experience. Knowing that all experience is a play of life upon itself, the blossoming of love into self-expression, the coming forth of good into the joy of its own being. I enter into my divine inheritance. I enter into the game of living with joyful anticipation, with enthusiasm. Today, I enter into my joy of divine inheritance, shaking my thought clear from the belief that external conditions are imposed upon me. I declare the freedom of my divine nature. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to remind you is that principle is not bound by precedent, which is exactly what this is about today. Principle is not bound by precedent. The only moment is now. Feel free to look into quantum theory. I don't have time to go into that, and I had a number of classes on quantum theory. That would take years of study. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I recommend it to you. So, I claim my divine inheritance. Your kingdom of God is at hand. Really, honestly, that should be like, put that on a mirror somewhere, or like on your door where you see it. That's not a bad idea to put it, put it above my door as I'm coming into my house. The kingdom of God, your kingdom of God is at hand. Your home should be your sanctuary. The riches, power, glory, and might of this kingdom are yours today. All right. So now twice he has said, the kingdom of God is yours. You do not rob others by entering into the fullness of your kingdom of joy, your kingdom of abundance. You do not rob others. The kingdom, I keep seeing this meme. It's not pie. So the kingdom of God is not pie. There's, you taking more doesn't take away from anybody else. It's not pie. Or if it is pie, it's the Greek pie, the math pie. It's irrational and infinite. It's not like apple pie. You deserve your kingdom. And you living in your kingdom of joy and abundance does not take away from anybody else. And in fact, you living in your kingdom encourages other people to look at their kingdom and go, yeah, no, I can have that. So you recognize that all people belong to the same kingdom. You are merely claiming for yourself what you would that the law of good should do unto all. Okay, I grimaced at that the first time through. So let me read that again. You are merely claiming for yourself what you would that the law of good should do unto all. So basically, when you claim your kingdom, you're claiming it for yourself, but you're claiming it for everybody else because the law works for everyone. And so the more good that you claim for yourself, the more good you claim for everybody else too. So when you claim your kingdom, you're claiming that kingdom for everybody. And when you are living in that kingdom, then other people can look at you and go, hey, I want what she's got. There is no law of human heredity imposed upon you. You can make a new choice every day. So, you know, the things that I'm going to say people have suffered from, you can choose not to. You do not have to buy into that heredity. Evil has no history and limitation has no past. That which is opposed to good has no future. Good will always win. Light will always banish the darkness. Because in the long run, the good is going to outweigh. The eternal now is forever filled with the presence of perfect life. That's true. That's the bliss. We just get in our own way. You always have been and forever will remain a complete and perfect expression of the eternal mind, which is God, the living Spirit Almighty. Let me read that one again. You always have been and forever will remain a complete and perfect expression of the eternal mind of God, of the living Spirit Almighty. You've always been perfect. You will always be perfect. You will always be. You have always been. You are now an expression of Spirit. That's what you are. Own it. So now we're going to treat. Say, today I enter into the limitless variations of self-expression that the Divine Spirit projects into my experience. The limitless variation of self-expression. That's what we're entering into. Everything around us is a divine expression. We are a divine expression. And just because we are this current divine expression does not mean that tomorrow we can't make a different choice and be a different divine expression. So, divinely express yourself. Yeah, I hear Madonna in my background, the back of my head. Knowing that all experience is a play of life upon itself, the blossoming of love into self-expression, the coming forth of good into joy of its own being. Okay, that's just a beautiful way to say that. All experience is the play of life upon itself. All experience is the blossoming of love into self-expression. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be the blossoming of love in self-expression? I mean, yeah, I would get a tattoo of that, maybe. I don't have a tattoo. But that, I like that one. That's the one right there. I am the blossoming of love into self-expression. The coming forth of good into joy of its own being. God is happy, or Spirit is happy, expressing through you. That's what Spirit wants to do, is it wants to express through you, and it wants to be happy, and it wants you to be happy. So, I enter into the game of life with joyful anticipation, with enthusiasm. So if I'm going to be blossoming of love into self-expression, of course it's going to be joyful. Of course I'm going to be enthusiastic about it. I mean, if you're not enthusiastic about love, whatever kind of love we're talking about, because, the Greeks had like 7. So we've got all these different kinds of love. We should be enthusiastic about it. We should blossom into it. Today, I enter into my divine inheritance, shaking my thought clear from the belief that external conditions are imposed upon me. So I'm going to go back to that where he said there's no law of human heredity. Just because it's happened in the past doesn't mean it has to happen now. Just because it has happened to a family member of yours doesn't mean it has to happen to you. My divine inheritance says that I can shake those thoughts clear and move on into my own divine expression. My own divine expression. Not what my family has expressed, not what the world has expressed, my own divine expression. Your own divine expression. I declare the freedom of my divine nature. I am shaking my divine nature free of all of the nonsense that the world has told me I am, that the culture has told me I am, that religion has told me I am, that society has told me I am, that advertisers have told me that I am. I'm shaking my divine nature free of all of that. I am entering into my divine inheritance and blossoming in self-love. Blossoming of love in self-expression. All right? So our mission, should we choose to accept it today, is to enter into the limitless variation of self-expression, the blossoming of love into self-expression, and to claim our divine inheritance. He never gives us small missions. Never gives us small missions. But he doesn't give us impossible missions, because he has taught us that the power behind the missions is infinite. It is the power of spirit, it is the power of love, it is the power of joy, it is the power of abundance, it's the power of celebration. It's the power of celebrating who we are and where we come from. Because we come from the divine. We are the divine walking around in this world. Principle is not bound by precedent. So do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself today. Do something that engages your mind and your body. It's actually relatively cool here. Right now would be a great time to open your windows and get some fresh air. And if nothing else, please open the windows of your soul. Get that breath of heaven and enter into your kingdom of God. It is at hand. It is always around you. Because you are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. All right, beloveds. I'm going to move into the process of my day. I encourage you to do what you need to do to make it a wonderful day for yourself. Know that Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today. And the Living of the Science of Mind book study has started. It's a companion book to the Science of Mind textbook. It's beautifully written. They're short passages. And that is practitioner Monty and Shirley doing that at 6 p.m. Please check your emails for the link to that. It really is a fantastic book. It's one of those books that I'll just flop open and go, all right, what do I need today? So I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, beloveds.